What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be talking about Booty Call. My general thoughts of this movie are that it's absolutely awesome. It's hilarious. It's just a great time. This is only my second time watching it. The the way that I just like randomly found out about it. I never knew about this movie. I think this movie's pretty well regarded. Um, but yeah, I was just at Dollar General one day and I saw the cover and I'm like, oh, Jamie Foxx. Oh, this looks like a comedy. This looks like a fun time. And I just like went in blind. I'm like, let me just pick it up. It's like it wasn't Dollar Tree, so it wasn't $1, $1.25. It was Dollar General, so maybe it was like a couple dollars. I don't know what their deal is, but you know how it goes. Some dollar stores are just faking it. They call themselves a dollar store, and then stuff will be like $5. But anyways, this was cheap. It was I saw Jamie Foxx on the cover, looked like a fun comedy, so I'm like, all right, let me pick it up. And the first time I watched it, I was like, oh snap, this is a good time. Like the comedy is just on point in this. It's just a good time. It's something you can just like put on, just sit back, relax, chill, have a good time, have a good laugh. It's just a good time. I feel like I keep saying that, but I mean, you can't go wrong with this movie. Come on, you know? But yeah, that's my general opinion of this movie. It's awesome, and yeah, upon rewatch, I still think it's awesome. So, sometimes that happens where you see a movie the first time and you're like, this is awesome, and then you see it again and you're like, eh. But I mean, this movie is still the shiznit, so what can I say? So I'm gonna jump into a little plot summary here. So you have these two friends, Buns, played by Jamie Foxx, and his friend Rashawn. Rashawn has been dating this girl for 7 weeks, but they haven't, had sex yet. So he's trying to do that. Jamie Foxx, I mean, Buns is kind of the opposite, where he's not really into the whole long term thing. He's just, trying to have some one night stands. The title's Booty Call. He's trying to have some booty calls, so he's talking to his friend like, dude, why don't you, get with her? Like, you guys have been going out for 7 weeks. And so they go on this double date. So Rashawn's girlfriend's name is Nikki, and she brings her friend Listerine, which I know that sounds like it's a pretty funny name. It's like Listerine with a Y, which is funny because she's making fun of Jamie Foxx's character's name. She's like, you paired me up with some hood rat named Buns. Like, how are you about to talk about his name? Your name's Listerine. You have absolutely no room to talk. Like, get out of here. But anyways, they go on this double date. They're hanging with the girls, and Buns and Rashawn bet each other to see who's gonna have sex before sunrise. So that's the basic premise, and of course a bunch of hilariosity ensues. There's just all kinds of problems that they run into, and that's the basic story. So I'm gonna jump right into my likes here. One of my first likes is, so when they're on this double date, they go to this Chinese restaurant, and the entire scene is just hilarious. It's like one of the best scenes in the movie. So like right when Buns walks in, there's this guy that like gets in his way or bumps him or something, and he's like, excuse me, Bruce Lee, or he's like, move, Bruce Lee. I was just like actually laughing out loud at that. And then so the waiter is, oh my goodness, this dude is absolutely hilarious. He's just cracking jokes left and right. The waiter's awesome, and I'm pretty darn sure it's the dude from 16 Candles. I when I looked up this movie, like all the cast, it didn't show him, but I'm pretty darn sure that's the dude from 16 Candles. And shouts out to that movie. That movie rules. Like pretty much every John Hughes movie is awesome. So yeah. And then when they're in the Chinese restaurant, Buns starts speaking Chinese because he learned to speak Chinese from watching kung fu movies because he was like poor and they couldn't have subtitles and stuff. So he like goes up to this like notorious mob boss, and he's like, "Hey, he's like speaking in Chinese. He's like, "Hey, can you put out your cigar? Me and my friends are trying to get some. Me and my friend are trying to get some ass tonight." And then, so Listerine also speaks Chinese, and they're like arguing in Chinese, and then they eventually like cuss out the waiter in Chinese, and yeah, that entire scene in the restaurant is just it's just perfect. It's so funny. And on to another like here, yeah, a different scene. So I think this is like one of the most iconic scenes in the movie, but the whole dental dam scene where Sean like wraps the plastic wrap over his entire body and his face, and he's pretty much suffocating. And then Nikki like pops like a hole in his mouth so he can breathe, and she's like, who else besides you would be dumb enough to do this? And then and then Buns busts through the door, and he has the plastic wrap all over him too. And then she saves him. She like pops a hole in it so he can breathe. And then Buns is like, what were you waiting for me to turn into a butterfly or something? So, I mean, that's iconic stuff. I mean, whenever you bring this movie up, I like over the years I've talked to a couple people about this movie, and like that scene always comes up. That's a standout. And then the last thing I wrote here for my likes is so Bernie Mac has like a small role in this, and his character is really similar to his character in Friday. So, in Friday he was a preacher, and this, I believe he's like a lawyer or something, and he knows Rashawn's mom, and he's like, "Hey, what are you doing out this late buying plastic wrap? I know what you're doing with that. You're not doing the right thing. You're, up to no good. Blah blah blah. Like you need to get your life straight, man. Like get it together." And then after he's like preaching to them about how they're like not living right, and how he's like so like morally superior, then this girl opens the door, and it's like this prostitute that he's with. So it's the same. It's his character's like pretty similar to the one in Friday, where he's like this preacher and he's trying to tell them like, "Hey, you kids are up to no good," and then he just goes and like gets with that dude's wife across the street. So yeah, I thought his little, I wouldn't call it a cameo, it was like a scene, but his little scene was pretty darn funny. Now that's all I wrote for my dislikes. I mean, there's like there's a million things I like about this movie, but I mean, I don't want this video to be like 3 hours long, so there you go. So now I'm jumping into my dislikes here. I really just have one main dislike, because like I said, this movie's awesome. It was hard to think about a lot of dislikes, but this dislike that I did pick is like a genuine dislike that I have. So I feel like the main characters, like they don't win enough. They like take too many L's, and like I understand that there needs to be a conflict. Like the whole conflict is, they can't get with these ladies because one thing or another, but it's like they just take like L after L after L, and it's the type of thing whenever I watch this movie, I get frustrated. It's like another bad thing's happening, that like, because a lot of times in movies it's like they'll have like a little like triumph, and then they'll have like a setback, and then they'll like get somewhere and have a setback, but like these fools just have setback after setback, and it's like it's like there's so many bad things happen to them to the point where after a while it gets a little bit old. So that's my only dislike. It's a small thing, but had to point that out. And that's all I have for my dislikes. So I'm gonna jump right into my WTF moments, and I have a whole bunch for this movie. So get ready. Yeah, the first WTF moment is kind of goes with one of my likes, the whole dental dam scene. But it's like, I mean, before I saw this movie, I never even knew what that was. Like, I always think when I watch this movie, like, does anyone actually use that? Does anyone do that? Cause like, I don't know. I can understand when she's like asking him to go get like a condom. That makes sense. But the whole dental dam scene, like, I don't know if anyone actually uses that in real life. And then I was just like watching the movie. I was thinking like, why did he go all the way to the store to get that? Like, he could have just hit her with like a little finger bang action. Like, it wouldn't. It's not necessarily the same, but it's like pretty much similar. It's pretty much a similar thing. Like, he had to go all the way out to the store just to get some plastic wrap. Like, what the heck, man? He could have just hit her with a little finger action. I don't know. That's just what I was thinking. But yeah, that I put that as a WTF moment because I'm like, does anyone actually use that in real life? I don't think so. Maybe I'm not hating. I'm just pointing it out. So my next WTF moment is so Buns gets his ass ate by the dog, and it's super funny, but I'm just like, what the heck? I was just thinking like when they filmed that, like, he really had, I mean, of course, like, the dog wasn't like all up in there, but I mean, like, he really had the dog like licking up there for when they were filming this. And I was just like, man, like, it's a little crazy. Like, this scene, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, this is like a raunchy comedy in a good way. Like, I love it. But I mean, you gotta put that as a WTF moment. I mean, so someone gets their ass eaten by a dog. I mean, where else am I gonna put that? I don't. If I put that in my likes, that'd probably be a little weird. They'd be like, what is he into, bestiality or something? But no, I'm just playing. But yeah, that was definitely a WTF moment. Another WTF moment is Buns just has the absolute crustiest feet I've ever seen in my entire life, and he's playing footsie with Listerine, and she's like totally into it. Like, I was just thinking the whole time, like, can't she feel like all these layers of crust? But I guess not. I mean, she's into him, so maybe maybe she just forgot about the crust. She's like, I can look past it because I'm so obsessed with him right now in the moment. But yeah, I mean, of course, there was just makeup. Like, the actor didn't really have, like, Jamie Foxx didn't have crusty feet like that. But it was like, for comedy. But yeah, I was just like, what the heck, man? This fool needs some lotion. He needs a little athlete's foot powder or something. I don't know, some extra strength, prescription grade athlete's foot powder, because he's having some problems here. So now I'm on to my last WTF moment, and that's so Listerine is like super duper kinky, and one of her kinks is that she wants Buns to talk dirty to her and all these voices of like famous figures, and that's another super funny sequence. I wouldn't even say it's a sequence because it's like different times throughout the movie. He's like doing different characters, but I just thought that was pretty darn funny, and I was just like, what? Like, it's supposed to be like out there and weird and stuff like that, but yeah, I thought it was pretty darn funny. And it was definitely weird. It was a good WTF moment. So I got through all my WTF moments. That's the last of my notes. So I'm going to wrap things up here in a second. So just to go over my overall thoughts again, I mean, this movie is a fantastic time. It's a blast. If you have seen it, I don't know, if you watch this video and you want to comment, tell me in the comments if you like it or dislike it. And if you have not seen it, I mean, 10 out of 10 would recommend if you're looking for, you know, a fun comedy, something to just have a good time with. Absolutely check this out. Right now, it's free on Tubi, and it's really not that long. It's like an hour and 20 minutes, so, I mean, you really don't have that much to lose. Like, even if you don't like it, it's only an hour and 20 minutes. Like, it'll be over before you know it. But I think if you haven't seen it and you like comedies, you like these like raunchy sex comedies, I think you will absolutely love it. And that's all I have to say about Booty Call. Thank you all for watching my review, and peace out.